Does it still tempt you? The darkness, I mean. I've seen its power firsthand. In a way, I thought it was better to fall to darkness than to fall into nothing at all. I don't know. There may still be some truth to that. But we all find a way eventually, right? And I think you found something stronger. Hold that close. Closer than the darkness has ever gone. 'Cause this truly is a part of you. Darkness wasn't. And it's better that way.
So now we got those worlds out of the way, but this is where my enjoyment in the game becomes questionable.
With all that I said being said, I enjoyed every minute of this game up to this point. I simply wish there was more to a lot of it, but I was still enjoying it, and I was only getting started, right? Sure, I had a decent amount of hours in at this point, and yeah, we visited 9 worlds, but it just feels like there should be more on its way. I mean, we've barely scratched the surface on the story so far. Nothing feels like it's been wrapped up, so there must be more.
Well, there is. Sort of. Just not in the way I was hoping for. This is the point where the story progression gets fast-tracked, easily comparable to Final Fantasy XV.
But just as you lose the open-worldedness in Final Fantasy XV to then proceed linearly to the ending, you do the same in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Instead of open world, it's various worlds, but afterward, you proceed linearly the same way.
Now it's not all story, there's bits of gameplay too, but it's all within the linear train of storytelling, where you're not really in control, you just kinda watch until the game prompts you to pick up the controller, where you end up in situations you didn't travel to yourself, only arrive there through cutscene. And this is by far my biggest disappointment with this game. It more or less becomes a movie spliced in with interactivity.
And don't get the wrong idea, I absolutely love storytelling in video games. That's the reason why I love Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy so much, along with other RPGs. I just want it to be a video game that has a story, not a movie that has gameplay.
I thoroughly enjoyed all of the cutscenes so far, and all of them that are to come. I just wish they weren't all strung together in a sequence that requires very little voluntary progression by the player. At this point, I don't feel I earned these cutscenes, rather stumbled upon them.
Anyway, on with the show. I'll first explain the following events, then come back for review.
Sora knows Riku and the king are in trouble, but doesn't know where. He simply follows his heart to get there.
Again.
You casually step onto the shores of Destiny Island.
As a player, I'm in awe to be back here, but Sora shows no significant reaction, and it's his home.
And you can't explore the Destiny Islands either. Now how cool would it be to not only explore this one, but the other islands that all make up the Destiny Islands? They wonder how to open the door to darkness, but then just immediately proceed to open it. Sora arrives in the Realm of Darkness, but is very casual about it. In fact, he instantly finds Riku and is not at all taking the situation seriously.
I made it!
You don't even traverse the Realm of Darkness. Sure, we got to see it in 0.2, but that was years earlier, and from Aqua's point of view. Sora's never been here.
Despite all this power of waking and finding strength talk that's been going around, Sora shows no struggle or hardship within the Realm of Darkness. Aqua is understandably distressed about being left there for a decade. This shows a dramatic repercussion of the shortcomings of all the characters involved and how they were powerless to save her. All the while, she was in literal hell, hoping she could one day find her way out, while still feeling hopelessly bitter about the situation that so unfairly came upon her, and that being her own weight to bear that no one else could even imagine how it felt to not only hold on to, but to unwillingly embody. She herself became the sacrifice for saving Terra, but had no idea just how much she'd truly be giving up, or how much pain she'd endure for 10 years, all the while losing any hope she had, and inevitably cursing herself for the decisions she's made, regardless of her selfless intentions.
And it's gone! Nope! All you gotta do is smack her around with the Keyblade, and she's back to her normal self.
This could have been a major plot point integral to the story. It's definitely not a twist many of us seen coming, especially considering how we played as Aqua in 0.2 Fragmentary Passage, and how she kept her hope alive.
But it's a dramatic, real-life, emotional consequence to something significant and unfortunate that befell this character.
Something we could all understand, maybe even relate to in one way or another, something she would have to carry with her and learn how to cope with, which would add so much depth to the story.
But no, a wasted opportunity. Now I'm not saying she shouldn't forgive, but man, that was fast. I know the darkness had a hold on her, but the darkness became a part of her. She endured a decade of it, and is instantly back to normal after one battle.
They exit the realm of darkness with ease.
So much for the power of waking being lost. Is it just me, or did the game not really even explain what the power of waking is?
Master Yen Sid didn't want Sora to go to the realm of darkness before he had it, but he didn't even use it there. Or is the power of waking literally the power used to wake Ventus up?
I really don't know.
But they instantly go to wake Ventus. No preparations, no discussion, no worry that he'll still be alright after all this time. Not even Ven trying to communicate through Sora now that he's face to face with his long-lost friend. Ven wakes easily. Though the little moment he and Sora have is nice, it could have been more dramatic. Ven faces Vanitas, but it doesn't matter because Vanitas leaves. The Keyblade is formed.
Keyblade!
They all gather at Yen Sid's tower.
Again.
From there, you simply set off for the Keyblade graveyard.
No one really shows emotions of wonder or worry or suspense. They just kind of show up and continue on.
There's not a super epic moment, a standoff or revelation, just a giant heartless storm. Some characters die, I guess, but we all know they're not really dead. I mean, it is Kingdom Hearts after all, so why try and pull one over on us? It's obvious things are going to be fine for us.
And if we did die like this, what a cheap way to go. Not very epic or dramatic, just a dusty storm cloud of Heartless.
Axel and Xion's deaths were dramatic and meaningful. Xion's gone, and Roxas felt lost. And Axel sacrificed himself for the greater good, and at the time, we believed he was done.
But Sora dying? That's not fooling anybody. So Sora does die, but holds on.
He's in a cloudy place, but it seems so out of place. Kingdom Hearts can do ethereal well, such as Stained Glass and Castle Oblivion, and previous depictions of the Realm of Darkness. But Cloudland just falls a bit short. I know they're going for the whole heaven vibe, but I just don't feel like it works here. Just as you can imagine, Sora is able to revive himself. He just has to collect himself. An uncanny and overwhelmingly dull world of cubes and walking Soras.
Gotta catch 'em all!
And Sora isn't taking even death seriously. Oh, and Naminé is here for whatever reason. And they talk. I don't know why, and it doesn't matter. And her being there, in spirit at least, seems to cheapen the distance that the characters have. The whole Think Naminé thing is now a joke to Sora.
Okay, maybe Naminé does matter here. Maybe Sora is in Kairi's heart, just the same way that Ven and Roxas found solace in Sora's heart. But the conversation still felt cheap.
Maybe just have an image of her in Sora's field of vision. where she smiles, then disappears, and Sora wonders why he would see her of all people here. Make it subtle, you know?
Anyway, Sora is alive. Surprise!
But he is transported to Olympus? But it's not the real Olympus. So you revisit each world, but limited to one room each, fighting this Heartless with a pretty basic pattern. There's also smaller Heartless spawning around him, messing up your targeting. But once you beat him, you end up back at the Keyblade Graveyard.
Yup. Back where you started. Before everyone died. But this time, everyone's alive. And you really didn't gain anything from that whole excursion. It was just something that happened just to happen. And then you move on. If that part was omitted from the game, nothing would be lost.
So you rewatch that scene again, but this time, Terra saves the day. Keyblade Fireworks and usernames creates Union Key. So the Keyblade Graveyard has some ruins, which is actually kinda cool. Not sure what these could have been before though. You continue on to the mini-boss-like battles split into different segments.
I like those little segments. I really do. After being so jaded in previous parts of this game, I genuinely liked what this had to offer. But it's kind of a shame it's done so quickly. I mean, these are major plots from various different games in the series, finding their conclusions here.
Sorry we took so long. Had a couple of plot points that needed ironing out.
Heartless Riku? Riku Nort? Dark Riku?
Whatever.
Riku fights his dark side. Then a Dark Riku comes out of Riku and kills the other Dark Riku.
Still with me?
So I guess his past self kills the replica from Castle Oblivion, and instead of taking the vessel for himself, he leaves it so that Naminé can come back. Riku's darker half wishes him well, then disappears. Heartless Ansem disappears, and Braig is defeated. He reveals he is to bequeath Xehanort's Keyblade, then lets himself fall. Luxord, Larxene, and Marluxia are all defeated. They can now be recompleted. Perhaps next time we see them we can know their real names. Vanitas is defeated. He, Sora, and Ventus have an exchange.
I like the fact that he's pure darkness until the very end. There's no changing him, and Ventus accepts that. Something Sora just cannot understand.
What I am is darkness.
Okay.
How is that okay? Vanitas?
Terra Nort is about to kill Sora, Aqua, and Ventus. But then, the real Terra comes in the form of a Heartless, and puts an end to Terra Nort. He gets his body back, and the trio are back together at last. Xion is back. She still has disdain towards Sora, but Sora sees through to her. Axel remembers Xion. Roxas returns to save his friends. This is the conclusion to 358 over 2 days, a game with a beautifully sad story. It's all resolved here. Beautifully done.
I just want more, not just a post-battle cutscene then move on to the next. 358 was very special to me. It got its criticism, sure, but to me, well, I loved it. The story had me hooked.
Story-wise, it's my favorite in the series. How lost Roxas is trying to find identity. How Xion has this dark secret she can't look past. How Axel is willing to give up everything he's gained in the organization over his newfound friendship.
3 nobodies who, despite not having hearts, they form a bond, a friendship, and through that, they explore what it really means to have a friend.
And it all inevitably comes crashing down. Not to mention one heart-wrenching ending where Xion fades away, Roxas loses all memory of her,
and no one eats ice cream together again. So yeah, I think you get the point. I just want more. Nonetheless, seeing Xion come back, Axel regaining memory of her, and Roxas being badass, honestly, blow Sora out of the water.
Plus Xion crying, then all of them embracing? Touching. Not to mention Axel, or rather Lee's old best friend Isa, meeting his end.
Axel's one of my favorites in the series. Everything with him is just fire, and he finally gets his recognition for the first time in this game, if not only for this cutscene.
Well, and that bell tower scene with Isa.
I'm even dragging you home!
Kairi is taken away, and Sora, Riku, and King Mickey fight Old Man Xehanort's direct subordinates, Ansem, Xemnas, and young Xehanort. They are each defeated, and Xehanort has one last key to forge. Kairi is banished, the Keyblade is completed, and Kingdom Hearts is open. All Keyblades are raised to Kingdom Hearts, and a portal is opened through Xehanort.
What is this place? This beautiful seaside town.
It's beautiful.
Admire it another time.
Just like before how there are multiple Soras, this place houses multiple Xehanorts. Those masks, they resemble the foretellers in a way.
Not really a fan of those undodgeable attacks, though it was pretty fun beating Xehanort down in rage form.
Side note, we're at the end game and I didn't get a game over once in this game. I mean, I died once or twice, but I had the Kupo coin on me. And I failed a few minigame missions, but never truly lost in this game. I've seen the KH2 and KH1 game over screens countless times. So now the city kind of breaks. In a way, it reminds me of Old Hollow Bastion, only a bit more clean. Another battle. And now Kingdom Hearts is glowing red.
A purge. The world will be returned whence it started. The world began in darkness, and from that darkness came light. From the light came the people, and the people had hearts. Evil burgeoned in those hearts, begetting more darkness. And the darkness spread across the world like a plague. The light, the symbol of the world's hope, was devoured by shadow, leaving nothing but ruin and utter failure. But the first light, the light of Kingdom Hearts, it can give us a new start. An empty world, pure and bright.
So after defeating Xehanort once and for all, we're greeted with the end scenes.
Xehanort is at the end of his rope, and Sora reminds him of his old friend Ericus. But just then, Ericus shows up. Turns out he was kept safe within Terra's heart. Makes sense considering Terra was there as the Master passed.
Ericus, you sly fox.
There's a flashback to young Xehanort admitting defeat. Then Xehanort hands the Keyblade over to Sora, congratulating him. Ericus apologizes to his pupils and wishes them well as he and Xehanort finally pass on.
Sora sets off to find Kairi, and the others settle into their new lives.
King Mickey, Donald, and Goofy return home and are greeted by Queen Minnie, Daisy, and Pluto. Jiminy Cricket, Yen Sid, Chip, and Dale all join in on the celebration too. Ventus, Aqua, and Terra pay respects to their master Ericus, and Chirithy joins Ven. Axel and Roxas are hanging out on the bell tower when Xion joins them. The three friends officially reunited. Then Isa shows up offering ice cream. And finally Roxas's new old friends, Hayner, Pence, and Olette, join them overlooking the town. Ansem Wise, Ienzo, and Evan are back at the lab when Naminé finally awakens. Dylan and Alias escort her outside as Riku comes to pick her up.
Now everybody's on Destiny Islands, just getting along and enjoying life. No obligations, no worries, just living.
They're throwing frisbee, playing tag. Xion and Naminé are finding seashells. Hayner, Pence, Olette, Donald, and Goofy build sand sculptures.
But where are Sora and Kairi?
The whole gang look toward the sunset to find them sitting in the Paopu tree, reunited at last.
Or are they?
The credit scenes show each of the worlds and how the characters continue on. It's a nice touch, though no new information's really gained through this, which is totally fine. This is the end after all. The post-credit scene brings together the Foretellers to the Keyblade Graveyard, summoned by Lushu, who turns out to have been Xigbar all along. Maleficent and Pete watch from a distance. Xigbar Lushu has the box they were after. The only Foreteller not present is Ava.
So there it is, the ending to Kingdom Hearts 3. It feels good to wrap up the story, though not all ends are tied. This is Kingdom Hearts after all. Besides, it was stated long ago that Kingdom Hearts 3 wouldn't be the end of the series, just the end of the Xehanort saga, so of course they'll leave us with questions. Speaking of questions, I've got some of my own to ask.
First off, what's to come next? I mean, Xehanort was the biggest threat, and everything else is pretty much resolved. I mean, there still is unanswered questions, but nothing really seems imminent. Where could the story go from here?
Well, I'm sure they'll figure that one out.
Why did Ventus have Chirithy? Did it have anything to do with his dreams? When he said he saw creatures, I thought he was referring to the Dream Eaters. And was Chirithy dead? Or like an angel or something?
Why does Chirithy even matter? For real.
Are Riku and Naminé romantically involved now? Or was that just a friendly gesture?
I don't know. That hand touch seemed a bit too friendly.
Besides, Sora and Kairi are clearly together now. It's official. So maybe Riku needs some love too. Why did Sora disappear? What could this mean? Did he never actually make it back? And if that's the case, how did Kairi make it back? Where'd she go anyway? Xehanort just attacked her and she disappeared. How would Sora even know where to find her? He just set off.
Sora, you should trust the guidance. Just follow your heart's command.
May my heart be my guiding key.
I've got it!
No, please, no.
Is Xigbar, Braig, Lushu the next threat? It surely points towards that. And if you look back through the series with this new context and extra focus on Xigbar, I guess it makes sense. He has always played a significant role.
Besides Xigbar, how do the Foretellers fit into the overall story?
And for that matter, what is Xigbar or Braig's goal anyway? And since Ava's absent, will she play a large role in future titles? How are these people even still alive? And why does Xehanort look the same from 10 years ago? He was already old. The only thing that's changed is his voice. Rest in peace, Leonard Nimoy. Honestly, there's no replacement for him.
Out with the old and brittle vessel, and in with a younger, stronger new one.
What is in the gosh-danged box?
This has been a question since before Kingdom Hearts 3 ever came out, and it's still unanswered. What could possibly be in there?
It better be something good to warrant us waiting this long for the answer.
And what do Maleficent and Pete even want with the box? Who tipped them off?
Will the other organization members return in some way? They always seem to.
Will Phil ever speak again?
What's the deal with Ephemer?
I know he's an Unchained Key and back cover, but I know almost nothing about him. Will he be in future titles?
What significance does this new game hold that young Ericus speaks of, with 7 black pieces?
I'm assuming this takes place after the previous chess scene, in which young Xehanort admits defeat. There was a clear allusion to the final battle, so perhaps this new game is yet another illusion, one we just don't know about yet.
So that about does it for questions. I'm sure I could come up with more if I thought about it. That's all I'll ask for now. Hold on. Actually, I do got a couple more. Not about the story per se, but more about the game itself.
Look, that ending was incredible. It was so nicely done, I can't really even criticize it. It's almost good enough to make up for the rest of the game.
Almost. Don't forget, I'm not completely satisfied with Kingdom Hearts 3. I've got a couple more points to make before we finish this out. So without further ado, let's talk about playable characters.
So, we've seen the story through Sora's perspective, but shouldn't there be more?
Come on! I was almost certain Sora wouldn't be the sole role in this game. Let's talk about Riku for a second.
Riku's been a major part of the Kingdom Hearts story since the beginning. He was Sora's best friend until Destiny Islands fell apart and he became consumed with darkness. He was one of Sora's main antagonists, but when he and Mickey closed the door to darkness, it was a sign everything would work out. In Chain of Memories, Riku had his redemption arc. You got to play as Riku. In 358, Riku made sure his friend had the necessary pieces to wake up. Then in KH2, Riku didn't have a playable story, but he helped you defeat Xemnas. If we go back in time to Birth by Sleep, Riku is given the ability to wield a Keyblade from a bequeathing by Terra, making him the rightful heir until he gives into darkness, and Sora gains the power instead. So then we get to Dream Drop Distance. Both Sora and Riku are taking the Mark of Mastery exam, and Riku passes as Sora fails.
You play as Sora and Riku in this one. Riku is literally half the game. So to me, that all just points to Riku having a prominent role in Kingdom Hearts 3. And it's not an impossibility to play as someone other than Sora in this series.
Over the years, Sora became less and less exclusive. KH1, yeah, it's all him, but as mentioned before, Riku's playable in Chain of Memories. Then in KH2, Roxas starts the game out. Sure, it's only the intro, but let's be real, this is one long intro. Also, under certain circumstances, Mickey Mouse is playable. Mickey is saving the day, and he has a Keyblade.
This Mickey is more epic than Epic Mickey. Anyway.
In 358 over 2 days, the game is played through Roxas's perspective again. Then, Birth by Sleep comes out, and there's 3 playable characters that are all not Sora. Coded as Sora, but Data. And as we mentioned before, Riku makes up 50% of Dream Drop Distance. Unchained Key, there's technically an infinite number of playable characters. And finally, in 0.2, Fragmentary Passage, you again play as Aqua. Oh, and this.
So it's not at all uncommon for Sora to step aside and let someone else shine. And with everything leading up to Kingdom Hearts 3, it would only make sense that Riku's story is explored more, from his shoes. I was almost certain there would be multiple playable characters in Kingdom Hearts 3, and not just Sora and Riku.
Around the same time Riku was bequeathed, someone else was passed the Keyblade's power. That someone was Kairi. And since that point, Kairi's had her own tribulations, but we rarely see it from her point of view. And in a surprising twist at the end of Dream Drop Distance, Kairi summons a Keyblade. Seeing that was almost magical. The next logical conclusion to that would be to see Kairi hone her skills in Kingdom Hearts 3, right?
Hardly. They speak on it, and she goes and trains with Axel and Merlin, and in the graveyard she wields it. But where's the growth? Why don't we see her hardships and struggles as she learns to wield this legendary weapon?
We've never had the chance to play as Kairi before, so again, I was almost certain this would be her chance as a lead role. It just makes sense. She's an integral part of the story, and not only do we not play as her, but she's barely in the game. We see Kairi in a few cutscenes with Axel.
Or Lee. Whatever.
But the training grounds aren't shown. Neither Kairi or Axel are shown training. Merlin's only shown when he decides to take a break. Lazy wizard.
So is he really teaching them?
And then at the end, Kairi's just kinda there, because she needs to be, since she's a guardian of light. But we haven't really gotten any justification on why she should be a guardian over anyone else.
And I'm not saying she shouldn't be. I'm saying the game should have done a better job at showing us why she is. Really give some depth to her character.
But she's so shallow in this one. In KH1, she's asleep half the game and she still has more depth. And in KH2, she actually does stuff. Sorta.
And on a side note, why did she lose like 5 years off her age? And for that matter, they all seem younger. And Riku, why'd you chop off that beautiful hair, man?
But seriously, the trio seems so much younger. Their designs aside, there's a lack of maturity, I'd say. Kairi's not stepping to the plate, Riku's weak, and Sora won't take a damn thing serious. Though it was refreshing to see Sora not break into a "it's all good cause we're all just good friends here" laugh after everyone was bashing him. He was annoyed and stuck with it.
Anyway, when I was going from world to world, I was just wondering, when will I get to switch characters? But as time went on, I realized it wasn't gonna happen.
So my next thought was, what if it's broken up into different stories, you know? Kinda like the old 3D Sonic games. You would play this chapter as Sora, then this one as Riku, then this one as Kairi. And if they're really jazzy, play this one as Axel, one as Roxas, and one as Aqua. Separate stories, just like in Birth by Sleep.
Okay, look, I just really want to play as other characters. Not that Sora's not good enough, because he is, but it's just kind of a missed opportunity. Kingdom Hearts 3 was meant to be this grandiose entry in the series, but it just kind of feels like there's a lot missing, and adding different character point of views would really flesh out the story.
Okay, to be fair, we do get teased with 2 battles. One where you play as Riku, and the other where you play as Aqua. Though it's just 2 battles, and that's a bit odd to me. It's not just a model swap or skin change. These 2 characters had to be programmed into this game separately, right? Like, they have their own moves and everything. Why put in the work for them to be playable, but limit it only to 1 battle each?
Maybe Square Enix had planned for more, but it was scrapped. I don't know. I can't say for sure. Moving on.
So yeah, where are the other playable characters? I suppose it was never said that there would be more, but to me it was just a given, but we never got.
So my other question is, where has my Final Fantasy gone?
Kingdom Hearts has always been a perfect marriage between Disney and Final Fantasy. Of course with its own original themes, characters, and worlds as well. But as time goes on, there's less and less Final Fantasy being brought to the mix.
That's a shame. I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan. In fact, Final Fantasy VII is one of the first games I've ever played, or at least one of the first I remember playing.
The series as a whole, from the first one where you fight Garland, the second and third that used to only be in Japan, the fourth where it drags on but is great nonetheless, 6, 7 which is a pillar of gaming, 8 is cool, 9, 10 I guess, 12 when I'm in the mood. I will defend 13 to the death, 15, and various others.
Where was I? Oh yeah, where is all the Final Fantasy?
Sure, there's Moogles, and a Cactuar, Flan, and that Virum Rex looks very Final Fantasy-esque. But 15 just came out. Where's Noctis? Shouldn't he be somewhere in this game? And Lightning, how hasn't she found her way into Kingdom Hearts? KH1 had Tidus, Wakka, Selphie, Leon, Cid, Aerith, and Yuffie. KH2 added Cypher, Fu, Rai, Vivi, Setzer, Tifa, Yuna, Riku, Pain, and Auron, as well as returning Selphie, Leon, Cid, Aerith, and Yuffie. Birth by Sleep got Zack, and although they're not Final Fantasy, I think it's worth mentioning that Dream Drop Distance got...
So where did all the Final Fantasy go?
It was a thrill getting to see Final Fantasy characters in the first two games. It worked so well. You got the cartoony nature of Disney, mixed in with the badassery of Final Fantasy, and just the right amount of friendship cheese, and you got Kingdom Hearts.
A perfect and unlikely mix-up... Hold on a second. I forgot to mention a very important character. Two characters, actually. Where the heck is my Cloud vs. Sephiroth battle at?
The last time we saw them, we were in Radiant Garden. One Wing Angel played in the background, and Cloud and Sephiroth battled until they disappeared in the sky. Where'd they go?
Yeah, I always thought they would pick back up again once Kingdom Hearts 3 came out. But there was no Cloud, no Sephiroth, no Tifa, no nothing. It just doesn't make sense.
Where's the conclusion? Why haven't they put their most famous IP back in a game it was previously in? Especially with the Final Fantasy VII remake on its way, it would have been perfect.
Listen, even if I go far away, I'll come back.
Do you mean it?
Yeah.
With Final Fantasy mostly gone from the series, it just feels like a large chunk of the lore is missing. Look, if Pete of all people can be a main antagonist, couldn't Cloud and Sephiroth get another side quest battle? If Mickey Mouse is saving the day, couldn't I have some NPC conversations with Noctis?
Even looking back now, more than 15 years later,
Yeesh.
I still can't get over how cool all the Final Fantasy inclusions are. I mean, maybe not so much Wakka, Tidus, and Selphie. They're cool in this series, but they're just kids and don't really do much. Oh, and maybe not the 10-2 fairies.
Weird. But everything else Final Fantasy in this series is just badass. Squall, Leon setting up base in Traverse Town, fighting Cloud and Sephiroth, that mummified Buster Blade, Tifa in Radiant Garden, Auron appearing in Olympus of all places, and by far the coolest thing I have ever seen in my life. Squall and Cloud together, side by side, fighting Heartless.
See, that's what was so dope about Kingdom Hearts. Not only could you see both Final Fantasy and Disney characters reimagined, but characters that would never be together otherwise can now meet and work together, or against one another, and affect the story in some way.
But I guess that's all in the past now. I'm not even angry Final Fantasy is absent, just sad.
So yes, I'm saddened. I expected so much from this game, and not all of it delivered. And I guess you could blame expectation in the first place, but how could you not expect it? Not only is the wait a factor, but there's so much leading up to this game, and when you look at how much the past games delivered, not just the main series either, it's hard not to expect more than what we were given. But hey, let me lighten the mood a bit, because I really want to talk about what this game did do right.
Look, I know I've said a lot of negatives about this game, but I have so much love for this series, so I've got to be critical. I don't want you to get the wrong idea. There is so much I love about this game, and although the negatives seem to stand out more to me, it's worth noting the positive things about Kingdom Hearts 3. So in no specific order, here we go.
First off, a new Kingdom Hearts game. Just the fact that we get another game is reason enough to be happy. Not that the series has ever been in danger of being cancelled, but just think about how crushing it would be if they just decided to stop the series for whatever reason.
I am in control! I've been in control since the 50s, in case you haven't noticed!
Anytime there's a new Kingdom Hearts game, it's a good time. Even Recoded, which is probably at the bottom of most Kingdom Hearts fans' ranking lists, even that game's fun to play through. Same with Chain of Memories once you get used to it and are familiar with how the card mechanic works.
Exploring new worlds. It's a breath of fresh air to not have to play through yet another rendition of Agrabah. There are 4 returning worlds in Kingdom Hearts 3, and 2 of these 4 are brilliantly done. Olympus and the Caribbean. We've seen these worlds in past games, and yet they still feel fresh to see them in Kingdom Hearts 3. New perspectives, new storylines. They're done right. And the other 2, Twilight Town and 100 Acre Wood, they're a bit lacking. It's still nice to see them, they look stunning, but they don't really offer much. That being said, the 5 new worlds that appear were great to see. Corona, Toy Box, Monstropolis, Arendelle, and San Francisco. We've never been to any of these worlds.
And sure, I may have my gripes with each of them, but to see this new territory, it's a good feeling. An excitement you just don't get when you know you've been there before, even when it's done well.
Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 mostly looked at the classics. Alice in Wonderland, Tarzan, Pinocchio, Aladdin, Little Mermaid, Peter Pan, Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, Steamboat Willie, Nightmare Before Christmas, Winnie the Pooh, Mulan, and the portable games too, Snow White, Fantasia, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Phew.
But Kingdom Hearts 3 lets us look into some of Disney's newer works. Before KH3, all of the worlds featured were based on movies pre-year 2000, with the exception of Lilo and Stitch, The Three Musketeers, and Pirates of the Caribbean. All of the new worlds in Kingdom Hearts 3 are post-2000, with the exception of Toy Story.
Funny, considering Toy Story still feels so new compared to the other films. It probably just comes down to animation style, with it being all 3D, while Hercules and Tarzan are both 2D animation. They both came out after Toy Story, but yet still feel older than it. I don't know.
Also, it's worth noting the Keyblade Graveyard returns, though you can't go very far, and Scala ad Kaiyam is a beauty. I want to see more of it.
Pixar. Let's talk about Pixar again for a moment. It is so cool to see it finally make its way to Kingdom Hearts. To see Toy Story and Monsters Inc. and Remy, it's awesome. Still, I would have loved to see a few others.
Finding Nemo?
But I guess we don't need another swimming level.
Up would be dope.
I'm not sure how that'd fit into Kingdom Hearts though.
Wall-E would be cool. Bug's Life. Even The Incredibles.
But I guess we already got a superhero-esque world. Honestly, what I really want to see is Sora's dumb face stretched over a car.
Keyblade transformations and leveling up Keyblades is pretty cool. It's just a shame though. I ended up mostly using 2 or 3 Keyblades the whole game, just cause strength stats were higher. There wasn't much reason to switch them other than appearance, and I often couldn't find the necessary materials to upgrade.
No limit to party members.
In Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, most worlds had a companion to join you, who was exclusive to that world. Yeah, you see how Beast blocks the whole screen? But the catch was that in order to add that companion, you had to bench either Donald or Goofy. But not anymore. In Kingdom Hearts 3, the companion character is added on without replacing anyone, which is pretty cool if you ask me.
You hear that, Donald? You can stay!
The Gummy Ship. We've already gone over this, but it's worth mentioning again. The Gummy Ship is so cool in this game. The visuals. Breathtaking. You can say a lot of things about Square Enix in the past 10 years, but one thing remains true. The visuals are always on point. The cutscenes. These story segments are great. They all had my attention the whole time. The cinematic quality is excellent.
And finally, the extras.
The camera is a neat addition. Besides just taking photos for fun, There are also Moogle photo missions in which you get rewards for taking pictures of certain objects. Ingredients are fun to collect, and with them, you can help Remy cook up some new dishes.
I've come up with a new recipe. I've come up with a new recipe. I've come up with a new recipe.
And finally, the classic Kingdom games. They give you a reason to explore different worlds, and they are genuinely fun to play through, but we spoke on that already. Also, there's some things left to do that I myself still haven't gotten around to, such as completing all the battle gates and gathering secret reports. Other Moogle missions such as bestiary photos, crafting the Ultima weapon, or just synthesis in general, and upgrading each Keyblade or the Gummy Ship missions and battles. So even when the game's complete, there's still stuff to do. I'm sure it's got nothing on data battles or Lingering Will though. I'm still struggling on those.
Other than that, just the fact that this game ties up some loose ends is good. The story has progressed a little, and that ending is brilliant. And seeing all the characters in their new outfits is really cool. Well, except Sora. Nothing can top his Kingdom Hearts 2 outfit, except maybe his final form.
Oh my.
So I gave my praises, and I gave my grievances. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. This is the game we got. I accept that. There's no changing things or adding on. Unless...
Kingdom Hearts 3 Final Mix. Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2 both had Final Mix versions released after their respective initial releases. They added new content, side quests, items, weapons, cutscenes, and battles. Heck, we didn't even get to see these changes until 1.5 and 2.5 Remix came out. And that could be a possibility for Kingdom Hearts 3. Various things could yet be added to this game in the future. It could really round out the edges.
Again, what they have is great. It really is. I had a giant grin plastered to my face the whole time. But in the end, it just kind of came up short. It basically went the same route that Final Fantasy XV went, where everything's great. The gameplay, the story, the side activities. But then you get to this point where the game is just kind of fast-tracked to the ending.
In Final Fantasy XV, that is when you're done with Altissia, and you're then on a linear one-way track to the ending. And everything there is good. The cutscenes, the battles, but you have little control. And it's like the devs were in a rush to get the game over with at that point. And that's how it is with Kingdom Hearts 3. After completing San Francisco, you're on the fast track to the ending. You're no longer freely exploring worlds. You're confined to this linear path with little control.
Again, it feels rushed, but what they did with Final Fantasy XV is they later added on episodes. Prompto, Ignis, Gladiolus, Arden. 3 more are planned too, but were unfortunately cancelled.
But what these did was added more to what we already got, fleshed out the story. And it was cool. More from the same game. Episode Riku or Kairi, anyone? Episode Axel? And look, I don't exactly agree with paying extra for things that arguably should have been included in the first place, but I'd rather that than just not get it at all.
So I'm all for a Kingdom Hearts 3 Final Mix, or even episodic add-ons. Like I said 15 times already, I just want more. Besides, I bought Kingdom Hearts 1 3 times, and Kingdom Hearts 2 3 times. I even bought Dream Drop Distance twice. So re-release Kingdom Hearts 3, and I'm on it.
So that's it. As it stands now, this is what we get. And I guess I'm okay with that. More so, I'm just excited and curious to see what comes next. In the meantime, I'm just excited for...
Can you bear to see the planet suffer? Cloud.
And when Kingdom Hearts makes its next return, I know I'll be right there in line the day it comes out. So, I guess that's it. Kingdom Hearts 3. Not much else I can say without excess repetition. Though there is one thing I forgot.
Lucky emblems. I mentioned them before, but what I didn't mention is that these mouse-eared photos are the key to unlocking the secret ending post-credits. It depends on what difficulty you're playing on, but after collecting the appropriate amount, you're greeted with this.
I don't even know what to say. When I first seen the Veer and Rex movie, I said something about a secret ending. That was an honest thought far before I'd actually seen the secret ending. I don't even know what's going on here. So it's Yozora and Sora? And Riku as well? So is Veer and Rex a real thing outside of the Toy Story world? And how does that relate to Sora? An even bigger question is, why are they in Shibuya? Does that mean...
Once you find your friend, Sora, you should come hang out in our town.
Definitely. See you in Shibuya.
Oh, I hope so.
When I saw that cutscene, my reaction was priceless. I was ecstatic. Shibuya 109? Or 104? Sora is actually in Shibuya? And it looks incredible. The Switch port of The World Ends With You is so crisp, and I thought that was the nicest we'd sealed Shibuya. But if there's more to this secret movie, then we're in for something big.
So there it is, my review, analysis, criticisms, and praises for Kingdom Hearts 3. I didn't even plan on doing a review for this game, till about halfway through when I had something critical to say. Then I just couldn't stop. It really was a journey. The making of this review, and the game itself. Heck, the series itself. So if you like this, stick around. I can't promise I'll do many reviews this in-depth, but I do have some planned. Otherwise, just check out my other videos, if you want. I don't know. Thanks for watching, and may your heart be your guiding key.
Quite a journey. Huh. I know it took a lot, but through it all, you've managed to keep that dumb smile bright as ever. There really is no stopping you, huh? You took it all on, and never looked back once. You wouldn't let anyone down, and more than that, you showed it was possible to carry it all without letting it break you. You held it together when I wasn't always sure I could. So thanks again for holding us all in your heart.